Alright, what's going on? Recently I filmed and edited another video for, you know, just like the collection update series, I guess. And it's been filmed, it's been edited, but for some reason I'm having a fucking nightmare of a time actually uploading it. Because I did it from my phone. I haven't had the problem before, but this time it's giving me more trouble than I think it's worth. I'm gonna keep trying, but in the meantime I'd like to film one of these. And that should be the last video I ever have to fuck with my phone, because I finally got a fucking laptop after over a year of not having one. So that's just a little bit more fun for me. You can probably expect these to happen a little bit more often, considering, you know, it's actually enjoyable to make again. Anyway, here's what we're listening to in the background for this one. Amigo the Devil, Volume 1. I went and saw Amigo the Devil last night. Played with King Dude and Twin Temple. It was a great fucking show, man. Twin Temple put on a really fucking fun show. King Dude put on a fun show. Amigo the Devil is some of my favorite stuff in the whole fucking world. Cool dude named Jason, he saw me coming out of the bathroom and he said what's up. And I always get a little bit like frozen when that shit happens, and it's, you know, it's happened a few times over the years. So, you know, sorry if that was weird for you. But we ended up talking kind of throughout the night, and it was a lot of fun. He said he was actually there mainly to see Amigo the Devil from the video that I made a few months ago where I talked about Amigo the Devil. And that for me is one of the coolest things in the world. So, Jason, this one's for you. Fuck. Alright, I'm in a death metal mood, so we're gonna do some death metal records this time. Which is good, because the last video, like update video that I made was like all raw black metal stuff. So this is good contrast. And we're gonna start here with this, Blood Incantation, Hidden History of the Human Race. So this is of course the second full-length album from Blood Incantation, following 2016's Starspawn. And Starspawn for me, I didn't like it quite as much as the EP that came out the year before, Interdimensional Extinction, but I think it really honed in the sort of band that Blood Incantation really wants to be, which is this sort of sci-fi themed technical take on like old school death metal. And that is, to a T, exactly what this is. This is just sort of an expansion. I think, in my opinion, this album has a lot more moving parts than Starspawn does. This record is, I guess the word to use would just be interesting, pretty much the entire way through. I would say this album is probably best experienced as a whole, as a sort of journey. Because it flows really nicely, and like I said, with all the moving parts and just the really impressive composition from start to finish on this album, I think that if you want to experience this album as I think it was meant to be heard, you gotta listen to the whole thing all the way through, and you won't regret it. If you like old school death metal, and you like your death metal to be maybe a little bit technical, then Blood Incantation, you can't go fucking wrong with it. The music is very loud and beefy. Oftentimes the riffs on this thing are completely fucking dizzying, and it's just very interesting. It changes a lot. My favorite song of this thing is the second one, the Giza Power Plant. The part where it sort of breaks and then it goes into like a more like acoustic passage, fucking bulletproof. And there's only 4 songs on this thing. The third song, Inner Paths to Outer Space, is just an instrumental, but the last song is called Awakening, and it's like an 18-minute closer with parts to it. Part 1 from the Dream of Existence, Part 2 to the multi-dimensional nature of our reality, and Part 3 Mirror of the Soul. So let me show you the packaging for this one. It is a hotly contested issue whether or not this album cover is lame as shit or really fucking cool. I quite like it. I guess this was an album cover for something else a long time ago. I don't know what it was, I don't quite remember, but I don't see the fucking problem. It's happened a bunch of times before where bands will use the same album cover from like an old painting or something like that. But this just makes it feel exactly like what Blood Incantation is going for. Like it almost reminds me of like some sort of weird, maybe 1980s, like movie poster or something. Really cool. There's the back cover right there. Band members, track listing, all that shit. I love this. To Contact Blood Incantation, Concentrate. There's the gatefold right there. Really nice. I love the matte cover, a lot more than if it were glossy. This comes with a couple things here. Here's your printed inner sleeve. Yeah, printed inner sleeve. Picture of the band playing live, and you have all the lyrics on this side. I like this. It says, Stargate Research Society presents a meditative inquiry on the mystery and nature of human consciousness as revealed by blood incantation. And what this really kind of looks like, it almost looks like weird propaganda. I don't know if it was sort of explained what this was supposed to be anywhere, but it has the track listing right here. And just a bunch of really sort of weird things on the inside. Like you can see there, that kind of looks like almost 1950s sort of propaganda type shit. Yeah, really cool, man. Blood Incantation are time travelers. They are returning you to the cosmos. Oh yeah, just more pictures, and you got thanks list on the back there. I haven't read all of this stuff. I imagine there's a lot of really cool shit in it. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. Very cool. You also get a poster. And Blood Incantation, in my opinion, has never been very good at deciding what should be on their posters. And I don't know, like, it's just the album cover. If the logo were up here, like real big Blood Incantation logo, I would love this. But it's just kind of weird that the logo isn't up top and there's a bunch of just empty blue space instead. I don't know. And the record itself is fucking gorgeous. I was kind of waiting on this pre-order. I knew what time of day it would be going up and all that shit. So I was waiting for it, and a lot of the colored vinyl sold out really, really quickly. And I got this. I don't think there was a word. I don't think they named this one really. There was like a galaxy swirl. That is not this. I described this as like sea blue and something grimace purple with like bone splatter or some weird shit. I have no idea, but it's really, really fucking nice, man. So I think that this is probably the better of the two Blood Incantation full-length albums. I still think the release that hits me the hardest is the first EP, but I think that's because, for the same reason that I've told you guys in the past, like, I didn't expect to like something like space-themed technical death metal. And Blood Incantation totally changed my idea of what technical death metal is. And I don't know, because of that, I think that'll probably always be my favorite. But Hidden History of the Human Race is an absolutely fucking fantastic entry into this band's catalog. There's a reason this band is fucking hyped up the way it is. It's awesome, check it out. You won't regret it. Alright, moving on from something that is kind of old school death metal inspired to actual old school death metal. This is Emulation with Dawn of Possession. Oh my god, this fucking glare, dude. This is the debut full-length album from Emulation from 1991, only following a couple demos and a split with Mortician. And I would say that this is probably one of my favorites in terms of old school death metal. I posted this on Instagram in the past, and a lot of people apparently, and I would have never known, but a lot of people apparently think that this is a relatively boring album. And just a relatively boring band in general, I guess. And I'll be honest, I'm not overly familiar with the entire discography of Emulation. And I think the reason for that is probably the reason for a lot of people thinking that Emulation is just a boring band, because I've listened to songs throughout the discography, and I think the problem for me has always been that when I think of Emulation, I do think of a band whose sound is very stagnant and stuck in its ways, I guess. Because this band's been around for over 30 years at this point, and they've not done much in terms of evolution. But I guess that could be a good or bad thing, because if Emulation had evolved the way certain bands have, people would complain about that. If they do the same thing over and over again, the other crowd is going to complain about that. So you really can't win regardless. So I don't blame them. I would like to hear more of the Emulation stuff, but it's never really captivated me. Though I do like this album a whole hell of a lot. And being from 1991, Dawn of Possession is one of the earlier brutal death metal albums. Though this one is not quite as like deep and guttural in terms of the vocals as something like Butchered at Birth or anything like that. The vocals are very good. I like a lot of the vocal patterns on this one. Musically, it's pretty interesting. It gets fast at points, and I think that's probably when it's at its best. Just a really fucking good old school death metal record. I absolutely love this album cover. Very, very, very fucking cool. The back cover right there, you got the band members and all the track listing. This guy right here is literally wearing the same shirt I am, which I didn't notice until I was just looking at it a second ago. Of course, you do get an inner sheet with some thanks and stuff like that, and all the lyrics on the other side. This is a 2016 repress, and it is on like this brown vinyl. You can see my Christmas tree, and it is December 7th, so it is officially acceptable. It's weird to me to see how polarizing this record is. Like, when I posted this, I wasn't expecting there to be any contention on whether or not this was like a classic record. And I think undeniably it is a classic record. I guess I mean more like the way it's sort of perceived by people. Because I just kind of assumed everybody liked this record. But I love it. One of my favorite like early death metal albums. Really, really good shit. Trying to keep the glare off this, sorry. If for some reason you don't know it, or if for some reason you don't like it, maybe the song clip will change your mind. Who knows? Dawn of Possession. Alright, moving on, let's get fucking nasty. Disgorge Forensic. This is the second full-length album from Disgorge, of course the Mexican Disgorge. Following the 1997 album Chronic Corpora Infest, this one came out in the year 2000, I think. And Disgorge is a sort of gore grind band, but it's very like brutal death metal. Very, very heavy. The vocals are probably some of the fucking deepest vocals out there. It's just an absolutely disgusting display of brutal, gory, noisy gore grind. Now this one is kind of bereft of like melody, but every now and then there will be a sort of catchy groove or a good riff that really pokes its head out and makes itself known. But for the most part, this is a very noisy, disharmonic record. And that's absolutely what this band was going for. Like, just look at that fucking album cover. You got a dead baby hanging out of what kind of looks like it might be a C-section incision. There's the back cover right there, just more nasty shit. And you have the track listing. The vocals on this one, I know I said they were very deep, but it makes the lyrics that are already fucking absurd impossible to follow as well. And being that this band is from Mexico, I don't know if it's that English was just their second language, or if maybe they just know a lot more about this kind of shit than I do, but I have literally no idea if these lyrics make any sense. Like, I'm just gonna try. I'm gonna try to read the first couple lines of the first song on this album. Slide subdural junction, tissues before the calcinating burst, engross pulping rust, adrenocortical secretory moist, leaders drops pica, unction of the adipose, embers membrane glush, goulashed paroxysmal, prompt expose. I fucking absolutely no clue. But there's all the lyrics anyway. And the vinyl itself, Parasitic Records just did this, and I think it was 400 on black and 100 on this yellow vinyl with red splatter. Very fucking cool. But yeah, if you like absolutely nasty, disgusting, like brutal gore grind death metal type shit, you probably already know this. If you don't, check it out, man. Disgorge with Forensic. Moving on, 2019 full-length album, Devourment with Obscene Majesty. This is LP number 6 from Devourment, and again, we've switched vocalists back to Ruben Rosas. The last album, Conceived in Sewage, was, of course, Mike Majewski, and there are two very different, like, vocal styles. I don't really know whose vocals I like more. They're definitely different. Ruben's vocals are a lot deeper and more brutal, I guess. But Mike Majewski's vocals, it's easier to sort of like decipher and really tell what the fuck it is he's saying. But I guess that's not really why people listen to like slammy, brutal death metal type shit. I'm sorry with this fucking glare, guys. By the way, one thing that I read is that hype sticker right there says this is limited to 200 copies. It is not. I believe that it is limited to 300. There's the back cover right there, by the way. I do not like this album cover, but I also didn't like the Conceived in Sewage album cover either. I don't know, like this is a good album. I do like Conceived in Sewage more. In my opinion, it's just more memorable. It's a little bit more catchy, I think, and I just have some good memories with that album, so I might just be a little bit biased too. This album just doesn't have a song that's quite so fucking just catchy and memorable that's the song you just want to keep going back and hearing it again. This album is good all the way through, it's just not quite as catchy. Though I'll tell you, I was very excited to have another Devourment album. There's a, I don't know, it's like a little fold out lyric sheet thing. You got the band members, you got a snake on that side, and on the inside you have all the lyrics. And the version I have is a very nice, like red, gray swirl. That looks really, really cool. I dig it. I don't know, it's a good album. Probably my least favorite Devourment album overall, but every Devourment album is really good, so you know, it's not a huge knock against this record. I don't know, I'm curious to hear what you guys think about it, but yeah, it's Devourment doing Devourment. I dig it. Obscene Majesty. And we'll end here. This is Argoslint with Hornets of the Pogrom. This is the most recent Argoslint full-length album from 2008. And the only thing that Argoslint has even released since this was a split in 2009 with Martial Barrage. Though I have heard that Argoslint is releasing another album, which that'll be fucking super cool. This is a 2016 Drakkar repress of this. I think it just got repressed again. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of the better Argoslint full-length albums in my opinion, which is saying absolutely nothing when every album is a solid 10 out of 10. And this is a picture disc, which I don't remember where I got this. I think I got this through Hell's Headbangers. But yeah, very fucking nice, man. I love the style of art that Argoslint has always used. Really, really cool. This thing sounds really good too. Like not a bunch of surface noise or anything like that. All the lyrics and stuff on the inner sheet. It's a very thick inner sheet too, which is nice. But most of us are very familiar with Argoslint, I'm sure. Very heavy metal in the music with sort of more harsh vocals. I say it a lot. I don't really consider Argoslint a death metal band necessarily, because I think the only sort of death metal characteristic here is just the vocals, but stuff like that makes Argoslint very unique in an ocean of bands that could use something to help them stand out. I dig it. I really just kind of pulled this one out to show it at the end because I don't think I have, and I'm trying to get through a lot of this shit that I just have never gotten around to showing before. Everybody knows Argoslint, but I just like I said, I've been in a death metal mood the past couple of days, so yeah, I just wanted to pull it out and talk about it for a second. Fantastic shit, you know it. Argoslint, Hornets of the Pogrom. And that's it, guys. Hopefully, I have no idea how long this video will be. Probably not all that long, to be honest. But there's 5 death metal records for you. Hopefully you guys are in the same death metal mood that I am. And like I said, I have a laptop now. Editing is easier. I think I'm back in the groove of things. Hopefully, anyway. I have no idea if there will be sort of like an end of the year list video. I've been so fucking busy this year with all sorts of things. My life is 100% different than it was at the end of last year. So I've been very caught up with life instead of keeping up with new releases. So I just haven't heard that much new shit this year. But maybe I'll get around and I'll try and make a top 10 or something for you. But until I figure out what it is I'm gonna do, we're gonna end this here. Thanks for sticking around, guys, and we'll talk soon. Later.